Hey guys, welcome to another scriptly adapted show here at Largemont Marinick TV, Facebook, YouTube, all our other social platforms. Today's a special show.
Nice.
It's a special show. It's a different show. We're not doing a movie review today. We're not doing Oscar or Golden Globes or anything like that. Today we're actually going into TV. We're actually looking at a very popular show now on ABC. Really gained some speed and some traction from the Golden Globe win.
Yeah.
Tracee Ellis Ross won for this show. Blackish. Yes, Blackish. Amazing, amazing show. Well written, funny, witty, intellectual, very smart. But this show in particular had something to do with the upcoming election and the feelings of that election throughout the country, in the workplace, in your family structure. And it just really embodied the feelings of everyone across all races and ethnicities and colors and whatever you were. It really touched upon a lot.
What I really loved about this episode was that, yes, it was about the African American family, which we'll get into in a second, but it was also everybody's independent and individual struggle with what was going on and how they felt about it. And it wasn't what you would imagine, like everybody was against it or something like that. It was just, it was real. And it was guttural, and for me, I really appreciated it. I love Kenya Barris. I love what he's done with this show. I love the risks that he takes.
Big risks.
And some are subtle innuendos, and some are in your face. And that's why I love the show. And this episode was just great. But
he educates, he educates people on his shows all the time.
He totally does. And he's gotten an amazing cast to play these characters that really bring you into this home. This not only American home, but this African American home, and it enables you to understand some struggles that you can relate to and some struggles that you can't.
And it's not just an African-American home. It's also an upper middle class African-American
working
home
family.
That also go through the struggles that, lower middle class or higher, whatever you are, they still experience the same thing that everybody else goes through, and that's what Kenya does in his writing. He lets you know that you can relate to the people.
But there's also things in the show that, what I was trying to say is that Kenya Barris allows you to sometimes look at the topic and the subject matter and say, listen, I can really relate to that, or, that's a different perspective. I know I can't relate to it, but I appreciate that perspective that he's presented to us. And that's why we love the show. And we think that it really deserved, that Tracee Ellis Ross really deserved that Golden Globe. But Coyote, get into telling us about this particular episode and kind of the dynamic in the family.
So this particular episode was really centered around the election. All right. You had your different points of views from inside the home, inside the workplace. You had one scene with just a younger generation of kid with an older generation, and the older generation explaining what he went through or how he saw things in the world through his eyes, which was very important. And so through this episode, you see everything, and some of the things that you see through this episode with the people who voted for one side versus the other surprises you, because it's not exactly how you thought it would go, which Kate will get into a little later. But it was very well written. The family structure, the family structure was very important for this episode.
Absolutely.
It was very important to show how the family dealt with the outcome, how they saw what was going on in the country, the questions that the kids were asking because they were curious about why one person or why one side is better than the other. It was just a really good perspective to see, to kind of understand what was going on.
Right. We actually, there's a scene when the whole family is actually watching the election results being displayed on the television, and you can see the shock on their faces. It's just, you feel for them in that moment, and none of them can actually believe what they're seeing, and they don't. And I think the characters of Dre, who's played by Anthony Anderson, and Rainbow, who's played by Tracee Ellis Ross, really, they're in despair because they don't really know how they're going to explain this to their kids. And I think also too, it's that moment where as parents, which we're not yet, but as parents, you're kind of like, crap. Like, how do we handle
explain
this?
that? How
Like,
do you handle
you know?
that?
Yeah.
And the show really took its spin on how they handled it.
Yeah.
And yes, they were disappointed.
Yeah.
At the end, they were disappointed with the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But they explained it in such a smart, intellectual way. They really broke it down on why. And you see that throughout the entire episode. And it's just a funny, witty back and forth to get answers and to understand all people and all mindsets on why they went one way versus the other.
Yeah. You know, another interesting perspective, interesting scene, and I honestly think this was the meat and potatoes of the episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Was when, you know, Dre, who's played by Anthony Anderson, is trying to, his character's kind of in limbo, and as such an outspoken character as he is, you would think he would have a stance, you know?
Right.
But at home, he doesn't really say anything, and at work, he's trying to get work done, and you can tell, as you can see in the picture here, they're all kind of, Wanda Sykes' character, they're all trying to kind of dissect and wrap their minds around, this is the morning after, all trying to wrap their heads around what they just witnessed. And their perspectives are very different. There is a female character who is played by a white woman, a white character, and she comes into the conference room and tells everybody that she voted for Trump.
Right.
And everyone's like, what? And this is probably, this scene you're seeing here is probably their reaction when they find out.
Yes.
And, you know, it presented different perspectives because the owner of the company, you would have thought, if any of you watch the show, you understand how somehow Kenya Barris always introduces that dialogue that makes you feel a little uncomfortable. And his character is often the one that does it.
His character is the one who says the things that are very politically incorrect at times.
And you'd think that he would be the one to vote for Trump, which they actually do vocalize in the episode. It's Trump and Hillary.
Right.
And they don't try to sugarcoat it. It is who it is. So you would have thought that it would have been him.
No.
But it wasn't. And
he was questioning
the white woman who voted for Trump.
To vote for Trump, and out of nowhere, you understand that he's a CEO of a major company. He's white. He's male. He's older. You would assume that he would have gone the Trump way or gone the right way, but he didn't.
Right.
And that is Kenya Barris's writing at its genius.
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
he makes you think he's going one way, but takes you another, and then he's explaining why he took you there.
Absolutely.
And it's a very, very pivotal scene.
And speaking of pivotal scene, the one thing about this scene that makes it so pivotal is Anthony Anderson's speech.
Yes.
As we have said, he didn't really talk about it a lot, and the lead character who plays his boss, the lead boss, says to him, "What's wrong with you? Why haven't you said anything? Don't you love this country?" And Dre, you know, he loses it.
Yeah.
And this scene, this, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually Anthony Anderson will be nominated for either an Emmy or a Golden Globe later on for this moment, because he really just brought it to everything. And take a look at this clip. Let us know what you think.
Take a look at the scene, guys.
You don't think I care about this country? I love this country, even though at times it doesn't love me back. For my whole life, my parents, my grandparents, me, for most black people, this system has never worked for us. But we still play ball. Tried to do our best to live by the rules, even though we knew they would never work out in our favor. Had to live in neighborhoods that you wouldn't drive through. Send our kids to schools with books so beat up you couldn't read them. Work jobs that you wouldn't even consider in your nightmares.
And blood at the roots.
Black people wake up every day believing that our lives are gonna change, even though everything around us says it's not. Truth be told, you ask most black people and they tell you that no matter who won this election, they didn't expect the hood to get better.
Strange fruit.
But they still voted because that's what you're supposed to do. You think I'm not sad that Hillary didn't win? That I'm not terrified about what Trump's about to do? I'm used to things not going my way. I'm sorry that you're not, and it's blowing your mind. So excuse me if I get a little offended because I didn't see all of this outrage when everything was happening to all of my people since we were stuffed on boats in chains. I love this country as much, if not more, than you do, and don't you ever forget that.
So there you have it. That was the scene of the episode.
Yes.
Dre basically goes into his love for the country, despite the country not loving him back all the time. And that was the line that I sat back and was like, wow.
Because you don't think about it like that. I think it's dramatic irony at its best, and people automatically expect people who have been wronged in this country, specifically African Americans, to have a contention. But that's not what he was saying. He was saying, I've always loved this country, even though I haven't necessarily gotten the respect back.
Yes, and as he was explaining, his ancestors have always picked themselves up and continue to go despite the trials, the tribulations, how at times the system not working in their favor kind of brought them back 2 steps, but they kept marching to get to their destination, wherever that was or wherever that would be at that time. And he really, really dove into so many deep things in that 1 minute and 46 second monologue of his about family, about continuing to keep growing as a people. And not just African Americans, but trying to open up everyone's eyes to what has happened in this country and what is sometimes still going on in this country, and how we need to really make a change, and how we as a people, despite election results, despite whatever has been said and done, we keep going.
Right.
And we keep going and we triumph through everything. And that was his killer message.
Absolutely. I think it was a pivotal moment, pivotal scene. The episode has been written about in the New York Times.
Right. Yes.
I think it was pushing the envelope, and it was pushed, and that was the beauty of Blackish and the beauty of Kenya Barris's writing, because he pushes it just enough to almost make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And being uncomfortable is crucial to making change.
But he has to push you.
Yeah, exactly. That's his goal of a writer.
As a writer, you want to push your audience. You want your audience to think, even though it's a comedy.
And feel a little on edge, a little bit.
A little uncomfortable.
Ooh, okay. How does that make me think and feel?
But that gets people to think.
Right.
And that gets people to understand, wow, is that really going on? Because some people are out of touch.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. But it's good that you mix some comedy in it. It's good that you mix some laughs in it. And it's good that you mix some really smart intellectual writing in it to make you think about everything Dre just said and everything the episode stood for families, for all people, for anybody who was going through something throughout this entire election process.
Absolutely. Another pivotal moment in the episode, too, was the relationship, the interaction, rather, between Lawrence Fishburne's character Pops, who is Dre's dad, and Junior, who's Dre's son.
Yes.
And Junior just can't wrap his head around, Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, I Have a Dream. And he's like, it was so soft. And Lawrence Fishburne's character said, no, that's what people want you to think. It had hardcore stuff in it. It was tough. And then as you see Junior's character reading the speech, he becomes he starts dressing in all black and becomes really militant. And
that's the comedy mix.
Right. And Lawrence Fishburne realizes what's happening. He said, I think I gave you the wrong message. He said, you have to understand all aspects. And so I guess Junior was due to deliver the speech in school. And the last scene that you see is him delivering the I Have a Dream speech in school. And to me, it was the most touching part of the episode. I thought they ended it beautifully.
Yes, and if you know Junior's character, he's the goofball of the show. And to have the show end with him delivering this monumental speech that's changed the shape of this country and this world in a serious tone, it sort of gets you back to thinking about these sort of issues again.
Absolutely.
And that was the beauty of Kenya ending it that way, with that character being the goofball, but encompassing being a man and now speaking about issues and things that have happened in this world, in this country, and it was beautiful to watch.
It was almost like a coming-of-age moment.
Yes.
And also, it was a nice foil for the character, because it allows you to understand that sometimes kids deal with things in a certain way because they may not understand, or they may not fully understand the impact of it. But it was really nice to see the episode end on that note. It was a feel-good moment, but it was also a powerful, poignant moment.
Yes.
And all the characters were in the background, and they focused and they did close-up shots on everybody's face. Tracy Ellis Ross's character, Rainbow Johnson, was near tears, and I don't think that was Rainbow Johnson. I think it was Tracy Ellis Ross, and I think the moment spoke to people.
Yep.
The episode was
Absolutely.
amazing. You guys can probably find it now anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
If you DVR it, it's great.
If you're
You
going to
should
watch anything,
it.
watch that episode.
Yeah, watch it.
And
It
that
was
will
great.
give you the sense of all the shows to come. You can watch that, have missed everything before that.
Correct. You're right.
And know
You're
what
right.
you're getting into
Absolutely.
when you watch Blackish
Absolutely.
every night on ABC.
Yep. So guys, as we always say, stay tuned, keep in touch with us. We have multiple social media platforms. We try to do an update every week on each of them. Always support us, support your local indie theaters.
Yeah.
Check out our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter as we do that. And we hope that you enjoyed the show. Keep your head up, stay focused.
Yes.
Don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope, guys.
And stay tuned.
Stay tuned for other shows. 2017, February, got more shows. Deep thinking shows, out there shows, everything.
Everything.
So we'll come at you really, really great with some more stuff.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. Thanks.
Later.
Bye.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today